Hello guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel today. If you are new here, you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming. So my name is Bosinola and I live in Sweden. If you're meeting me for the first time, I live in Sweden. So on today's video, I'm going to be talking about a very controversial topic that you will hardly find on the internet about Sweden. Yes, I know some people have experience about this, but then no one is talking about this, and this is why I want to do this video. So let it not be as if we just come here to tell you, okay, Sweden is good, Sweden is all this, Sweden is all that. But then sometimes it's also always good to talk about some of the things that you least expect, some of the things that can be frustrating to you when you apply to Sweden or when you even live in Sweden. So if you want to know about this, please stay tuned and stay welcome back. So today I titled today's video as "Coming to Sweden is a Trap or Not." Yes, I actually put it there because sometimes I feel like this is a trap. So by the time I'm done with this video, you can also say in your mind that, oh, this is a trap or not. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is I'm going to be talking from the genesis to the revelation of this whole issue, right? So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is when you are applying for your resident permit to Sweden. Either you are coming through studies, sometimes work can be fast. And what I want to discuss about this resident permit is when it comes to studies is, number one, is when you're applying to come to Sweden for studies, let me use studies, it takes a long time for them to process this resident permit. Like, you will wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. Like, at the end, like last year, this is 2024, last year, a lot of people that I had contact with, for example, people from my country, from Nigeria, a lot of people were stopped. Okay, see what happened. A lot of them got admissions at the right time. They applied very early, and the migration bracket, we call them immigrants bracket, refused to answer them. It's not like they refused to answer them. Yes, of course, they used to say they have plenty of applications going on. We understand, right? A lot of applications were delayed, like to the extent that, and one thing with Sweden is once school resumes and school, every department does their mandatory roll call. There's this thing we call mandatory roll call. It's just like attendance to be sure that you are in school. Like when you move into Sweden and you want to start your studies, you need to do that mandatory. It's very mandatory. So if you are not present in that mandatory roll call, if you are not present in that roll call, you have like 80% chances to lose your admission, right? So last year it was very, I think it was worse for Nigerians last year. A lot of people got their admissions, and when they applied for their resident permit, it didn't come out quickly. Like, it did not come out quickly, right? And I'm saying this, that if you're applying to Sweden, please just expect this, right? A lot of people are lucky. Some will be lucky, some will not be lucky. Expect that it will not take time. At least just put your mind in 4 months, 5 months, right? For the processing of resident permit alone. And the truth is, some people will not even get decision, even after mandatory roll call. So let me continue to what I was saying. So if you don't come on that mandatory roll call, you lose your admission. Now this is where the problem is. If you don't get your resident permit to come into Sweden before that day, you lose your admission. And the thing is, once you lose your admission, once there's mandatory roll call and you don't get, and you're not there, migrations will automatically reject your application, because now there's no reason for you to come into Sweden. So you see, so there's no ground. It's just like it's not your fault. Now it's the authority fault, right? That they didn't attend to you quickly, or they didn't approve your resident permit quickly. So you lose your admission. I have a lot of things that happened last year in 2023, and another thing is, some people will get their decision, let's say 2 days to their mandatory roll call. Now the trick is, once you get your decision 2 days to your mandatory roll call, you can apply it for D visa to enter into Sweden, so that you don't miss that roll call. Now last year, some students had issues with D visa, and to get your D visa, you need to apply to the university and asking them for permission to get a D visa or something. I know the school has to give you a note that you will take to the embassy. So it's that note that the embassy will use to give you D visa. Now, the problems some students had last year was that Some students reached out to the school. They got their decision 2 days or even a weekend to the mandatory roll call. So they reached out to the embassy, they reached out to the school that, okay, we need a letter that we are going to be late for this mandatory roll call, so that the embassy will give us a D visa to travel into Sweden. Do you know some schools, I will not mention their names, some schools actually refused to give students that note to apply to the visa. So a lot of people lost their admission, they lost their resident permit. Even though migration has approved their resident permit, they had to revoke it. A lot of them had to tell them to request for refund of tuition. So these are the issues. Expect these issues. I know, yes, a lot of people say, like, don't be saying this and blah, blah. I have to say this so that people will know. That is the number one challenge that you will face when you are coming into Sweden. Now, the second thing is, when you now finally come into Sweden, before I go to that, people on work permit are kind of different. Work permit is kind of fast, especially if it's a very big company and one of all these high skilled companies. So you probably get your visa, your resident permit rather, you probably get your resident permit quickly. Now let me move to when you now come into Sweden. If you're on work permit, you're free. But for students, what I said is a trap is when you move into Sweden, earlier on, when you get your resident permit for schools that are not pilot schools, you get a 1 year resident permit. Even though you are doing a 2-year master's, you get a 1 year resident permit. But for schools who has like pilot programs, they get their 2 years resident permit. Now for schools that are not pilot programs, that get just 1 year resident permit, by the time that your resident permit expires, if you put in for extension, oh my god, hey, that is another delay on its own. Like, that thing can be so frustrating, it can be so depressing, it can be so annoying, like it can be so, and you can't travel without the resident permit. You can't leave the country, you are just trapped, you cannot do anything, you cannot even travel to a neighboring country. You have to be there until you get your resident permit. And if you call these people and tell them, okay, I need to do this social thing in my country, or I need to, they will tell you, we advise you not to go, because if you go, there's no probability that you can enter. How will you enter? Extension, for crying out loud, takes long again. We understand that if people want to come into the country, we understand that, yes, you might want to do every background check, you might want to do all the interviews, you want to do every research you want to. We understand that. But not doing extension for permit that you already granted, and you have to wait again. Like, all these things are the issues, right? That's another thing. Another thing is, no one actually knows how migration vacants works. We don't know how they work, because I was speaking with a colleague of mine. She is from Italy, like she's Italian, and she and her family lives in Sweden. She got married to a Swede, and she was telling me that where she works, like, she and her friend decided to apply for citizenship, Swedish citizenship, and so she said that they applied the same day. That she wanted to just have, she wants all of them, the whole family, because she's Italian, and her children, she wants all of them to have like Swedish citizen, right? So she said she applied to citizen, to be a citizen in Sweden. She and her colleague applied the same day. She said a week after, her colleague got a decision. She got the decision to be a citizen. She said for she waited 3 years. Like, guys, 3 years. Who can explain that? Like, she was even the one telling me that she does not even know how they work. No one knows how they work. Because you quickly apply does not mean somebody who applied 2 months after you will not get a decision before you. Like, these are all the issues. Like, we cannot even, you cannot bank on how they work. You don't know. They will tell you it depends on case officers. They will tell you queue system. Oh, okay, how do we explain somebody who applied to citizenship the same day? A week after, she got her own decision, and here she is, 3 years. She's an Italian, she's not a black. So this is not about racism. This is I don't know. It's everybody, like, it's not black, everybody, Asians, that is how they work. Like, this is how they work. She was literally telling me that there was this student who is a student, like this, she got a student resident permit to come into Sweden. This is somebody who has like less than 1 year old baby. She had to come into Sweden, right, before they approved for dependent. She waited and waited 2 months without her baby. It can be frustrating, right? So these are the issues. These are the issues that you should expect. These are the issues. You literally cannot say how they work. You don't know how they work. Another reason why I said that schools like Sweden can be a trap, or maybe it's a trap. I don't know. Another thing with students, especially students, like is the uncertainty after school. Yes, in the laws, after school you are permitted to be in Sweden for 1 year to look for a job. Right? If now that the work permit requirement has increased, if you are not aware, I have done a video about that in the past, like the video where I talked about Sweden laws are getting tougher on immigrants. Please look for that video, you will understand. Now that work permit requirement has increased, to get a job that will give you that work permit, that will pay that salary requirement, is scarce, is rare. Thank God for Not Votes. For people that don't know about Not Vote, I've done a video where I was talking about Not Vote, how Not Vote recruits international students, which I really credit them for. Like they employ international students a lot, and they pay up to the work permit requirements, right? Thank God for Not Vote. If not for Not Vote and some international companies, I don't know the fate of international students. Now you're so uncertain. You don't even know what happened, because most of all this job requires you to speak Swedish. Not Vote does not require you to speak Swedish. Like you don't even have to speak Swedish to get a job in Not Vote, right? These are the issues. You're not sure. Another uncertainty is Sweden is not constant. And it's not like I'm trying to spoil or trying to, no. I've done a lot of video where I talk a lot about how Sweden is good, but then everything cannot be perfect. I'm just helping you to see the imperfections. These are things that you can't see on the internet. These are things that people are not really talking about, but this is the reality that happens to people. So I'm only telling you to prepare your mind when you come into Sweden. Prepare your mind. Be prepared that these are the things that you're going to go through. Sweden is not constant. Like they keep changing their rules. They keep changing their laws. You don't know the kind of laws that comes tomorrow. Like somebody will ask me, people ask me that, oh, in 4 years you will get your permanent residence. I used to tell them that in Sweden that can just start tomorrow and change something. They might just come tomorrow. Every year they keep changing their rules. Like you can I don't even know how many years, because yes, now they say after 4 years you get your permanent residence, right? And after 4 years you can get your citizen, right? But who knows what they will do next year? Who knows that maybe next year they will increase it to 10 years? Who knows? I'm not sure. There's so many uncertainties, that complexity that you cannot wrap your head. You cannot back on their laws. Like you cannot depend on it. These are the things that happens in Sweden. Another thing is, once you start working, like if you're like the main applicant, once you get a work permit and you start working, you are not expected to. You cannot do multiple jobs. You can't, because once you start doing multiple, it's a problem. By the time you're applying for a permanent job, so as a main applicant, you cannot do multiple jobs. Is that one job that they approve? That one job that you're doing that you can do. Although you can do plenty hours with the company, but you cannot work in other companies. That would be, in fact, it's a problem for you by the time you are applying for your PR or citizen. Another thing that I want to say is, if you apply for work permit to stay in Sweden again, delays, guys, these are usual delays. Like this delay is, oh my goodness, sometimes it's even good for people who are single. If you have dependents, oh my goodness, like, except some companies, for example, Not Vote tries as much as possible to help the applicant, like their workers, to get their permit quickly, like they get it quickly. But all other companies, like for example, like restaurant, cleaning, even PhD students, You have to wait and wait and wait to get your permit. You cannot travel. You are trapped. You are stuck in the country. You can't travel. Like, when I do my videos, I like to make myself an example. When I finished my master's and I applied for this permit to search for a job, that 1 year permit to, no, that's not. When I came into Sweden with 1 year resident permit, like my school is not a pilot program school. I came in with 1 year permit, and after my 1 year expired, I applied for a new permit, right, for my remaining 1 year, because my master's was 2 years. If I tell you that I didn't get that resident permit till today, that permit extension for students for master study, I did not get it. I kept on calling them. There was even one time that I wanted to travel home, that I called them that this thing happened, I need to go. They say, we are sorry. That's what they are always saying. We are sorry, we are working as fast as possible. That is their language. Like, if you send them an email, you cannot rush them. You cannot pressure them. It's the same email. People that have applied to Sweden, you will know this thing. It's the same. It's not like they have email. They want to send them email about your application, they copy and paste. Once you send them, they copy and paste. This is the truth about what happens in Sweden. If you are not a PhD student, for example, a PhD student that maybe you are transitioning from masters to PhD student, you now applied for resident permit. Hey, maybe for example, you now have a dependent, single applicant. Maybe they are always still, it's only you. Even though it still takes long, it still takes long. It's only you, right? They will still delay you a bit. But if you now have dependents and have kids, oh my goodness, hey, just decide to stay in the country. That's just it. So sometimes I feel trapped. Sometimes internationals, like immigrants, we don't even know our future. We don't even know what holds for us in this country. And I will be so glad if they can consider us, like if they can be so considerate about immigrants. Like, yeah, you just change rules, change laws. We're not even sure. We don't even know our future. Now we are hearing that because in Sweden, once you're 5 years, you can get your citizen, right? Now we are hearing that they want to propose that 8 years. They want to extend it to 8 years. Before you get your PR, your permanent resident, you are not required to have like any Swedish language. Now I'm hearing like they're already proposing that you should have Swedish language to get your permanent resident. At least have the knowledge of Swedish culture and all. So all these things. So the reason why I'm telling you this is not to paint Sweden as bad. Sweden is a very good country. If you can break into their system, it's very good. They have work-life balance, they have everything. But these are the issues. Is this delay, the resident permit delays, uncertainty? You don't even know what will happen in the future. You don't know your future in this country. Yes, you can work, you are legal, but you don't know PR, you don't know citizen, because anything can change at any time. Right? Those are the uncertainties. And be prepared to be in the city. When you apply for permits, it takes longer process. Like it oh my goodness, it can be so frustrating. Honestly, it can be so, and I don't know why. I don't know why it's like that. I don't know why it's like that. Yes, that's what I said I should tell you people today. Like, be prepared, right? Be prepared, but don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Even though they come up with different rules and everything, sometimes it always works our good. For example, the work permit requirement, they increase the salary requirement, right? So it forced some companies to increase their salary. So it worked, right? It worked. So sometimes those laws also work in our favor. So these are the things that happens. I'm just preparing your mind not to discourage. Don't be discouraged. Come, but come knowing that these issues are available, right? Yes. If you have any question, please ask me on this video, like under the comment section. Please like, comment, and share. Please share this video for everyone that you know that is coming into Sweden, so that they will know. Because I've met a lot of people. I do YouTube. People knows me. People, when they see me, they say, we know you, we watch your videos and all. Please share this video, and they'll be like, You people don't talk about all these things on your YouTube channel. You people don't discuss this. You people don't say. Now we've discussed this, right? Please share this so that people will know. You will be aware, so that by the time you come, you will not be shocked. Okay, thank you so much. And I also want you to like this video so that by the time you like this video, the algorithm will kind of promote this video, right? It will promote this video, like this video, so that people will see it, so that we are helping people in one way or the other. Even if you cannot give them money, like you can give them all this information, right? So please share this video, comment, like, so that the algorithm will push this video to whoever wishes to hear. Thank you so much. And I also want to state this. I also want to use this opportunity to advertise for myself that if you're in Sweden or you're in Europe generally and you need human hair wigs, I have them. I sell them. You can reach out to me, and it's at affordable price. Okay, right? And they are good hairs, like good human hair. Okay, this is where I will draw the curtain for today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby.